Hi, it's Mary Daisy. I'm back. I would like to apologize for being gone for so long, and I'm ready to talk about it. One of the things that I've mentioned often is that I'm an empath, and I'm highly sensitive to energies, and it occurs to me as I read so many of the forums that I believe most people with autoimmune issues are also highly sensitive people. And I remember in one of my vlogs, I talked about how powerless you feel when you're suffering because there's nothing you can do. People normally don't understand because they base everything on what they see. And unless you're having an autoimmune issue that is the lupus butterfly or something quite visible, trying to explain to people if you're out in public and they want you to eat with them or drink with them, explaining that, well, you're having a hard time this week because your mouth is so sore that anything you put in it feels like you're crunching on shards of glass. And what I want to say is that I guess I've adapted over the years to not going out in public as much. And what I've learned in particular from the last 3, 4, 5 years is that every time I go out and come home, I'm usually not feeling well the next day. And we ran a bunch of errands this week, and I guess it was too much energy from outside sources, which had a physical assault on my body. And I'm bringing this all up because these are things that took me years to learn, and to learn how to avoid them, to protect myself. And you never know where an onslaught of problems is going to come from. And you also may need to distance yourself from people who you're reacting to their energy and not in a good way. I have received so many awesome comments and things of encouragement and messages from people I don't know and have friended me and need help. How do I make my husband understand? And I want to tell you that in the past couple weeks, a couple things have occurred. One is that I received a very, it was just a very ugly message. And this person had accused me of vlogging about self-diagnosed, unverified illnesses or something to that effect. And as soon as I saw it, and I really just skimmed it, I had to close it down. I don't know where this person thought that I'm talking about diseases that I'm not diagnosed with, because I have said in my vlogs many times I was diagnosed after this occurred or that occurred, because I attributed what I had been diagnosed with every time I was under an inordinate amount of stress. And I didn't make any claims about self-diagnosis. But what I did say is, after being diagnosed with Sjogren's and lupus approximately 6 years ago, I keep telling people that you're diagnosed, you feel terrible, you're finally diagnosed, and you stop looking for answers because you think that's it. But if you keep reading and looking at all the questions and answers, you can learn so much more and actually start identifying symptoms to ask your doctors to test for this, that, or the other. So I just want to set the record straight in case anybody else thinks I'm talking about self-diagnosed, unconfirmed illnesses. I was first, I brought up fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. That progressed into Sjogren's and lupus. And then I believe I talked about last year being in the hospital almost the entire summer because of MRSA, and then that was followed by Rocky Mountain spotted fever. But I had been experiencing a number of issues before, and while I was in the hospital, my blood results showed a number of things that I didn't know about, and the doctors I had been to up to then did not know about. And one of them was elevated liver enzymes, which they could attribute to the diseases and the medications that I was on. The other was low hemoglobin, which eventually they sent me to a hematologist who confirmed that I had low hemoglobin, and he attributed it to my Sjogren's. But one of the things that was not diagnosed was, why could I not breathe? And the pulmonologist had put me through all his tests, and some of them he repeated, and he could not find the reason for the fact that I could not breathe and my lungs were extremely weak. So he sent me to a neurologist, and the neurologist ordered 3 initial tests. The first one being the MRI of the brain, which showed I had been having chronic strokes for years. And as he put it, much more than anyone your age should have. And when I asked him, is it on an area of my brain that controls my balance, a whole lot of things because I had been falling regularly. There were so many things. And he said it was all over my brain. But he was ordering 3 more tests to find out why I was having the strokes, and still looking for the source of my breathing issues. And at that point, I made a comment that, looking through the forums, someone had wrote in who had been sent to take the exact same tests that this neurologist ordered, and they were diagnosed with certain things. And when I looked up what the tests were ordered for, and in addition, the symptoms of each disease, I predicted that the outcome would be a certain thing. One of them was autonomic-nervous-system-disorder. And I said, this diagnosis was confirmed along with small-fiber-neuropathy. And he also found a mass in my brain, which was causing the strokes. But he told me he was totally incapable of doing any more in the way of testing, because these are very rare autoimmune diseases, and that I would need to go to Mayo or Cleveland Clinic. And so I just want to stress, I have never talked about a disease that I have not already been diagnosed with, other than the time when I went to the neurologist and just based on the test he ordered, researched, so that I wasn't shocked when he confirmed what I had thought I had. And I also stated, I told him at that time I was going to request palliative care. And I am meeting with that team in October. And all of my doctors know that I am now DNR. And most of them totally understand, because the diseases that I have now progressed to, there aren't cures for. The autonomic-nervous-system-disorder was the cause of my breathing issues, because the autonomic nervous system controls your breathing, your swallowing, your temperature, your sweating, and there are issues when I researched further that if you have autonomic nervous system, you may also have this, and this, which is what I would have been going to Mayo to find out. But why bother? Because there is not anything they can do about that. So that was the first point that I just wanted to set straight in case anyone else was confused. And the other thing is that I've only normally been vlogging when I feel well. But night before last, I had a total meltdown because I had dropped a glass jar, which I had herbs in, which I put in my bath in the tub, and it shattered all over. And my husband came in and I was just sobbing. And he said, no, I'll clean it up. Why are you worried about this? It's a glass jar. We have glass jars all over. It's replaceable. Why are you so upset? And what I said is, I'm not sobbing over the jar. I'm sobbing over all of my incapabilities that I can't do anything about. I drop things every single day. Glasses, dishes. He now does the majority of the cooking, any cleanup of any of the dishes or pots or pans or anything, because I cannot hold on. My hands don't work. And in addition, I think I may have mentioned the hands were one of the first things I noticed when I went to the doctor, and he sent me to Chicago to have the vertebrae in my neck fused, and he said that was the source of my hand pain and deterioration and not being able to hold things. But then I just read on one of these forums yesterday that someone put out the question, is trigger thumb a side effect symptom of Sjogren's? And there was a ton of responses saying, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is. When I first had the issue, I went to my pain doctor and asked for the referral to a hand specialist. He refused. And I also told you that I had gone through TMJ treatment, and the doctor that I was going to had just been diagnosed with Sjogren's, and he too had the same hand issues. However, he did not go to get his neck fused because I guess he knew better or researched further or somehow had better information available to him. But my point is that now, after the last two diagnoses, I read every forum because they give me answers to things I have been wanting to know for years, and not one doctor can give me the correct answer. But reading the forums, I get information that I did not know that I attributed to other things, because you never know what box it goes to. So it wasn't until yesterday that I realized that the hand issue is a side effect of Sjogren's, and had I known this, I would not have gone through things that were totally unnecessary. And the last thing I want to leave you with is, because now I'm seeing a pattern of being an empath or highly sensitive individual, the detrimental assault it takes on my physical body when I go away out of my house and interact with the public, or even just being in public places, that I'm usually wiped out the next day. And this could just be from going to a doctor's office, but I realize, and I have realized for a few years, that if I go out, I'm going to be down for a couple days. But now I'm attributing it to different reasons, and you need to protect yourself. If you're in a job that is giving you stress, you need to get out of it, do something else. I also read that the best job for people who are empaths or highly sensitive are working with animals. So how amazing is it that I chose to start a nonprofit dog shelter for abused, handicapped, and senior dogs. I just, in my soul, knew that I should not be in public, but I should have as many dogs around me as I could. And I'll try to vlog more and take you on this journey with me in the hope that I can help someone who's just starting this journey, or like me, has wondered for years, why does this bother me? Why am I having these problems? So I am definitely going to be leaving the house less and staying better for as long as it's possible. Have a good day, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.